to the cloud. Recording in progress. Hooray. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Oops, that's me. I'm talking over there. Coming to you from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful big island of Hawaii. I notice that I get really giddy whenever Wisdom Dialogues is starting, and it seems to be like a combination of, oh my God, what am I gonna say? and just like a sense of excitement for what's gonna be revealed and what's gonna be new to me, you know, because a lot of times people tell me, I've never heard you say it like that before, and I go, neither have I. And it was amazing because every time we hear what's being shared in a different way, and hear is kind of a funny word too, because it doesn't have to necessarily be the words, but the way it kind of strikes you or sits with you, so to speak. That's the teaching that we get from it. And so just our attention toward awakening the mind, toward forgiveness, toward love. It allows all of the circumstances and life experiences to pop up that you need to learn that thing that you're focused on. So, for me, like whenever I get an astrology reading or something like that, it's like, oh, you're here to learn. And it's like, okay, that's great. So I put the focus of that attention, that like the kind of energy, that learning energy, on learning what's really true. And that's basically all it is paying attention as you go about day to day, noticing what you're teaching yourself. Because every teaching is like a self-teaching. And here's the thing, everyone is teaching all the time. All the time. There's no break from it. Even in sleep, even in nighttime sleep, everyone is teaching all the time. So you come to a certain point where you go, well, the only thing I would really like to learn is the truth. That's all I would really like to learn. And even if you find yourself learning other things in the world, worldly things, say you're learning law, or you're learning how to play the harp, or, talking about myself there, whatever it is that you seem to be learning in the world, like if you make it your number one priority that you're learning what's true, that becomes available to you. Let's say that those lessons become more available to you and usable by you, while you're still choosing to teach yourself that you're small, limited, that people aren't meaningful to you, for instance. You're setting yourself up for suffering, not because of the experience itself, but because of the way you take the experience. It's not really the experience itself, it's like the experience, it's all projected from your mind so that you can get that kind of feedback that you need based on the way that you think anyways. But when you take it as if there's separation and as if you're small, and that's what you teach yourself by the way you speak and everything like that, and you're paying attention to that, you'll automatically learn to make better choices all throughout the day. And the choices on what do you want to teach, in this context, is it love or fear? What do you want to learn, really? Because whatever you teach, you learn. you know. And irrespective of whether you're like sharing about spiritual concepts, kind of like what I do on Wisdom Dialogues, the teaching is beneath that. The real teaching is it's more of a feeling. It's like a feeling that we connect with. And it's an energetic, vibratory kind of things. All of our relationships are mental. They're mental relationships. We're just relating it with thought. And you know, there's only one of us. So the people that we're in relationships with are us. They actually are us. So not only are we always teaching about who we believe that we are, and always learning about who we are, but we're always teaching and always learning about what people mean to us. Okay, so the thing is, as one, we don't care like in worldly terms. Like we're careless when it comes to like the worldly way that people are expected and obligated and all that kind of stuff to care for one another. That's very mental. That's a mental way of caring. You know, you go, this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way to do it, and you get thoughts like, oh my God, am I being a good friend? Or, oh my God, am I being a good mom or a good daughter or a good wife if I do this? It's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. It's more like, take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. That's the self that I'm talking about. In taking care of your mind, you're taking care of everyone. And that is love. That's really what love is. You're not thinking about what a good whatever would do or what's the best in this situation, because when you're focused like that, when you're taking care of your mind, the spirit is taking care of all your words and actions. It's all going to be perfect. You're going to be just as helpful as you need to be. And here's the thing, everyone is just as helpful as they need to be. It's not like anyone can go wrong. So, you know, in working on your mind, you're taking care of that thought that other people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's what makes it come back on you. That's what makes it seem like you have to work really hard to make sure that you're a good person and you do all the good things so that you can be helpful and all this other stuff. You suck at that. Sorry, that's just how it is. That's how you're made. You're made so that you suck at that. It's all set up so that you will believe that you have to be a certain way in order to be lovable, in order to be worthy of love. And then you can find out that you suck at it. Basically. So why not just give all of that up? Why not just give all of that BS up? You focus on taking care of your mind, as in allowing your mind to be awakened by just your presence to how it's playing out. That's all. Just watch, like take things slow, take life slow. In your mind, you could be running a marathon in the world. None of that means anything, but you tend to move erratically in the mind. So when you see the mind moving erratically, just let it move erratically. It doesn't need you for that. Do you guys see what I mean? It's kind of like a little step back. I think maybe this might be what I'm talking about, what they call detachment. I don't know. But it's like there's this erratic mind stuff going off on a trip. And you can just allow that to do that. without your involvement. How do you do that? How do you take that step back? Turn your attention into the sensations in your body, the flow of the breath. Watch the breath. Once you put your attention on the breath and you see that your breath is just as erratic and choppy as the thought, things change. Because your awareness, and I've said this before, and I love this, your awareness is like the sunshine on one of those misty mornings where there's all this mist and you can't see the plants real well because they're all misty. You can't see the definition on the plants. And the sunshine comes and slowly and gradually that mist just dissipates. That's how I feel like it is for your awareness on that erratic thought pattern in the mind that gets you all caught up. See what I mean? So it's like a little step back from the mind. It looks like this to me. Here's how it looks and feels to me. It's kind of like if I'm on a thought, and I know, here's how I know I'm on a thought. First of all, this is simple, makes it really simple. Here's how I know I'm on a thought that hurts me. I have some kind of upset feeling, whether it be worry, frustration, maybe I can't even define it, some kind of feels like joy may be lacking here. Even in the smallest amount, I know I'm thinking against myself. So aloha, Cynthia, soon as I realize I'm thinking against myself, then I'm asking for that to be corrected. That means I'm not going into the thought trying to chase it around. I'm almost like receding into my body's energy field. If you're more physical about it, you could say receding into the body rather than going outwards, like receding inward. Okay. Body is a symbol. It's not really here. It's a projection of the mind. You can still use symbols for teaching and learning. I like to always reassert that the body is a symbol and is a projection, because it's not anything that's real. But it's kind of like you retreat from a thought into whatever it is that means something to you, where you can kind of feel this almost like a pulling back into the center or back into yourself, just like, oh, you're done with that thought now. It can do what it wants. It says stuff and you smile at it and you're okay, and you're just okay with it. You're not trying to get rid of it. You're not saying it's wrong. You're not saying, why am I thinking this? And you're not believing it. You know, you can say it's believing it too when you're just going, why am I thinking this? It's not true. See, when you actually don't believe in the thought, it's not going to cross your awareness. So every time it crosses your awareness, just let it be for fun. And don't be afraid of things that cross your awareness. It's just funny. I mean, I share all the time with you guys because I know you guys, for one, it's true for me. For two, I know that you guys, a lot of people, maybe not each and every one of you, but a lot of people are afraid of what they think so much that they don't even know. You know, like if you ask them, they're like, no, I never think anything like that. Like people have said, no, I never have any suicidal thoughts. Okay, you guys, that's just part of the makeup of the thing. Okay. And the way you undo the makeup is that you see those thoughts, you allow yourself to see them. The thing is, we're so running from our thoughts, from our subtle thoughts, that we try to keep ourselves super occupied with different activities, making ourselves busy. It was so funny when I was in activism too. One of my friends, one of my friends thought that I was distracted. He said, I think you're distracted. And, it's so funny, the disparity between what he meant and the way I took it. And, it's so good because I think you're distracted. Immediately it hit me. It's kind of like that. And it was like, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right. And the way it was for me was like, I think you're distracting. I think you're distracting yourself, like putting all this attention into the activism. You can't see the subtle thoughts. It's hard to see the subtle thoughts because you got all of this activity. And the way he meant it was, I think you're distracted because you're focused on masks instead of vaccines. So that was fun. Like, to me, those two things are the same. Like, that's on the same level. You know what I mean? All that stuff's on the same level. But it's like, and I was just like, well, I don't even care about that. The vaccine thing, that's not fun for me. I'm having fun with the mask thing right now. But it's like, I noticed the way my cycles move. So fun to see the way my cycles move, because what it seems like I'll get this like interest, and I'll get interested in something. And whenever I notice that I'm interested in something, I'll just check in with myself and kind of be like, is that something I'm really being drawn to and really feel into it? And then another thing about myself is I will be drawn to something for a little while maybe, and then not anymore. And that's totally natural. That's how guidance is. That's how it goes. You're not being guided into anything so that you can produce anything in the world. That's not the reason. That's not even the reason. Hope, do you really think this will work to make it so that you don't have to? I'm like, I do not fucking know. And actually, I don't care. And it was funny because, I really appreciate all of the activism people that I got to hang out with, because it was funny. I would tell them, they would ask me, what's your secret? How do you have so much energy? And how are you able to just do all this shit? And I said, because I know that none of it is fucking real. That's how. If you take it as real, it's pressure, it's a burden. I know that none, so it's fun. It's fun to play in the field. And here's the thing, whatever you're guided into too, that means like you feel juiced up for it. That's one way to say it. I feel juiced up for this. And that's how it was when I got into activism. I just felt so juiced up. It's like, yeah. And as soon as I was not juiced up anymore, it's like, okay, time to go, everyone. Okay, the juice, and that's kind of like what I talked about on my it was the last wisdom dialogues of 2020, which was maybe sometime in March or May or something like that. Because I didn't realize it at the time, but I was going into activism. I did not realize it, but that was like the reason why I was stopping wisdom dialogues, to make space for that. I didn't even know that at the time. But I was talking about in that last one, you can listen to it in audio. It's not on video, so it's on the audio recordings. If you're gonna look for it, the arc of joy, that's what I call it, the arc of joy. It goes whoop like that. So it's like, here it comes. I notice it. It's coming up. It's coming up. I feel, I told my friends, oh my gosh, I am sensing some what is activism coming. And my friends are looking at me like, what the fuck? And I go, I know, me too. I'm saying what the fuck too. I'm just sitting in silence with it right now. And then it comes, and then it comes, and then I start, and then I'm start going, and then I get more juiced up, more juiced up, more juiced up, more juiced up. Boom, like that. It's great. And here's the thing, it's not really that big of a boom. It's more like that, maybe, I don't know, maybe to here. But if you keep pushing through that right there, like where the arc's coming down, if you keep pushing through that, that's where you get sick and stuff. Like, if you want to know what causes sickness, that's it. That's it. Okay. People pushing themselves when that joy went this way. The joy is health, the joy is freedom. Health, freedom is joy. They're all one. Okay. So once it starts going like this, it doesn't matter what I'm doing on paperwork or anything else. What I'm teaching and what I'm learning is that I have to sacrifice joy for freedom. So that's not something I want to teach and learn. That's not something I'm willing to teach and learn. So I just get the fuck out of that. Right. And you know, the reason I can get out of it is because I allow it. I allow that. I'm worthy of that. I've had friends come up to me and go, so yeah, you could just like, yeah, I saw that. You could just do that. I was like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you sure can. Anyone can. You know, it's just these defenses that we set up in the mind to make ourselves guilty. And then it's like, oh, if I quit, does that mean it was wrong to have started? No again. It's all the illusion playing out. Let the illusion play out and make your entire job forgiveness. See, so what I'm talking about here is forgiveness. Again, forgive your illusions, because your illusion will always try to make your mind will always try to make you guilty while it's projected like this in a dream. Okay, because that's the way it's conditioned to do. So look out for how there's a guilty thought, upset feeling equals guilty thought, and let that go. Let every guilty, there's always going to be some guilty thoughts. This is the thing that's really interesting about that, you guys. Here's one thing that I noticed. When I suddenly stepped back from activism, there was nothing but appreciation from my fellow activists. There's nothing but appreciation from them. It was not like, how could you do this right now? I mean, I did have some calling me up and going, hey, Hope, I want you to know that this is going on. And I said, okay, that's just not interesting to me anymore. And they said, okay. And okay, but I want you to know it's like this. And I said, okay, but you know, the thing is just not interested in it to me anymore. Oh, well, I thought that since it's happening like this now, that you would jump back into activism. Actually, no, I'm not guided to do that at all. And I think it's not likely that I will again, although if I am called, of course I'll go. So the activism, the activism was something that I was called to do. And as soon as I'm not called to do it, that's the same as being called to do it. It's the same. You follow your calling, whatever it is. And that's all that is. You don't have a choice in what you do, remember? All that is allowing it in your own mind. Because if you make it wrong or something, you make it wrong in your mind, that's where it's going to hit you. That's where it's going to be like suffering, something that you suffer over. Apparently, I allowed myself to see those thoughts all day long, every day. Are you talking about the guilty thought, Anastasia? You're saying that you allow yourself to perceive the guilty thought all day long? That's freaking awesome. How do you like it? That's the thing. That's the big question. How do you like it? You know, because the guilty thought is meant to get a reaction out of you. Yeah. Guilty thought is meant to get a reaction. So when you get a reaction and you believe that it's caused by the guilty thought, that empowers the guilty thought. Nice. You see them and you just notice them. She says the suicidal thoughts, not much. Okay. So you just see them and notice them then. Awesome. Yes, Jill. Yes. Jill said, good for you for having the inner strength to say no and do what is best for you. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't have a choice in whether I say yes or no. That is not something I have a choice in. I have a choice in whether I believe a thought that hurts me or not. That's all. That's all. So Anastasia, you know, if you don't believe in the suicidal thought, if you don't believe in the suicidal thought, it cannot cross your mind, right? So it's like it's only crossing your mind to heal that belief. So if you have it coming up over and over and over again, watch how you may be with that thought, because you may be with it in a way where you're wanting it to maybe go away. It'll get to the point where you are grateful for it. Like it comes and there's a smile at it. It's like, thank you. And you actually get a little bit of an upliftment, because see, a guilty thought can only come from you. So a suicidal thought can only come from you. All right. And it is going to come from you because you're perceiving yourself as a body, and a body is made on a suicidal, guilty ass thought. So until you don't get the perception that there is a body here. I'm getting the perception there's a body here. That means that I'm going to get perceptions of different thoughts, like suicidal thoughts. I'm going to get perceptions of hateful, get all kinds of perceptions of thoughts, because that's what I secretly believe. These are the things I secretly believe about myself. That's why I could manifest the body. It takes a lot of energy to hold this thing up, you guys. Body and world. It's not just the body and world. The world isn't separate from the body. They're holding the whole thing up on this guilty thought. So when the guilty thought occurs to you, and you know it's not funny yet to you, feel what you feel. Notice what you feel, because the guilty thought itself does have a corresponding feeling. A suicidal thought has a corresponding feeling. So feel what you feel. Get the sense of that feeling. Go to gratitude. You can even be grateful for a suicidal thought. Isn't that totally against what you've been taught in the world? Don't be grateful for a suicidal thought. Push it away, because that's not good. It's not good to talk about suicidal thoughts. The monkey mind. You guys probably heard that term. Before you know you have a monkey mind, the monkey mind is telling you don't have a monkey mind. I don't know if you guys noticed that before. Good thing I'm not ruled by thoughts. But you know, it's kind of an interesting little dance, because the more you become aware of what you're thinking, the more you realize, holy shit, that thing is on steroids. It's just going all the time. It's like it's on speed or something. It's just constantly, there's another one, there's another one, there's another one. And you know, thought is interesting, because you can even use thought to convince you that you're not having a thought. It's amazing. But you know how you know? You're getting reactions. You're getting feeling reactions. That's how you know. What is that? For a while there, I was just getting feeling reactions. I didn't know of any thought. I was like, whoa, that's intense. You know, you start looking at these things start to get a little bit intense, you know? Like, whoa, it just like rocked me. I don't see anything, you know? And then I started to see, just because I was willing to look. So whenever you're feeling upset, just look. You don't have to, like, if you don't see any thought, that's okay. Just keep on looking. That's exactly what I was shown during my iboga retreat. The mind never stopped, and it was always bad news. Isn't that awesome, Leah? I just love that. Well, I love you too, Ryan, you sweetie. Yeah. So back to Jill's comment. Good for you to have the inner strength to say no and do what is best for you. Yeah, you guys, that's what people call boundaries all the time. It's just that people are trying to lay down artificial boundaries. See, when you're just listening to the spirit, you have real boundaries. You can't help it. You actually those are the boundaries. It's just, that's what it is. And it's not, and it's not fearful. It's not like you're afraid of the person. You're not afraid of what the person is gonna how the person's gonna react or what they're gonna say. And what I noticed was, and what was confirmed to me too, I just heard someone say this the other day and I didn't even realize someone was saying something like this somewhere in my dream, but it just came up, and they said, when you value yourself, then the world reflects that it values you too. And it's like when I was going through that, where I'm being guided in one direction really strongly and then being guided to just completely stop, all just allowing anything that denied or limited or put down my value, try to reduce my value, just let anything like that be seen, just in watching. It's just the same thing. A thought might occur, oh, you can't quit now, you have this going on. And I like rest with it. And it was neat because when the guidance came to quit too, it also came with a really good feeling. Like it just came with a really, it was like, it almost felt like something that was like constricting me, that I didn't know about was constricting me, just like lifted out of me and went away as I was receiving the guidance. So it was like undeniable too. So so I was not allowing my value to be decreased in any way by any of these thoughts, at least not that I could see, and the way I see is by paying attention to feeling, right? So I can notice what it is that's making that feeling, because the feeling is always a reflection of a thought. So once I know that I have an upset feeling, I know that whatever I'm thinking, that can't be true. It just gets dropped. And so because my value in my own mind is allowed to be so high, that gets reflected back to me. See? And that's what I noticed. It's like the majority of reflections, of the vast majority of reflections, are like really super appreciative of me. And it's almost like there's a sense like I don't feel like I did anything. Like I don't feel like I did anything. It's almost a little bit surprising, just because I don't feel like I did anything. And that's like, and that's like really not what it is, That's like really not what it is, because you don't do anything. It's just a matter of, in your mind, you are able to maintain a high value or a high worthiness, because your worthiness, it's like so worthy, you don't even need the word worthy. It's so worthy, in the world, in time, we have these levels of worthiness. There's no such thing as that. So when there's just allowing any thought that speaks to your unworthiness, just kind of fall away, peel away, all that's left is your worthiness, and that's in your own mind. And the world comes from your own mind. So I take the world always as if it comes from my own mind, because it does. And the other way is actually pretending. The funny thing is, I was talking with a friend, and she was telling me that, and this is one example of someone who was, I guess she looked like she was appreciating me in some sense. She was definitely giving me some appreciation. She was also giving me what people would probably call constructive criticism. And she said, you can't solve any problems by going around and just making the world into this magical place and using magical thinking and all this and all this, you know, and not go out there and actually do some stuff. And, you know, of course, when my friends telling me that, I'm just like, okay, you know, I don't feel like getting into any kind of like worldly teaching role with her on that, you know. I'm like I said before, we're all always teaching and learning. We're all always teaching and learning about who we are. So one part of teaching and learning about who we are is you don't have to, like Jesus said, cast your pearls before swine. See, you feel it. You could sense the energy. No, that won't go. That'll go to argument. I don't want that. You know, so it's like you just don't even need to act on that kind of thing. But anyways, it's the opposite of what the world thinks, because what's the magical thinking is actually thinking that you're going to solve your problems by getting other people on board with you to do things the way you think they should be done. That's the fucking way the whole world is going. That's the whole thing. Yeah, that's the magical thinking. Like all we need to do is get like a majority, or even my family, get everyone in my family. All right, let's start with that. I got a family, I got a household of 4 people. How about get everyone in my family to do exactly what I think they should do? It's like, good luck with that, you guys. You know why? You know why? Because when you're thinking in separation, every single person that you come into contact with, and especially those who are your closest relations, are going to lead to conflict. That's how it is. They're going to automatically do shit that you think they shouldn't be doing. Guess what happens when you awaken from that? They never do anything that you think they shouldn't be doing. Everything that they do is met with gratitude by you. They are never a way that you think they shouldn't be. That's when you're awake. They're not that way. You don't take that thought as true. You don't believe in that. You don't believe in their acting outside of your mind, somewhere outside of your mind, without your authority. So what would you have? What would you be holding against them? You know? It's just like, if you look at the symbolism in the world, like say you look in the, I don't know, is it called the political social field or whatever? You know, you got people who are upset and they're believing that if everyone just stops eating animals, everything will be better, right? So it's like there's this drive, there's this to try to get people to change their mind. You know, my son Braun was showing me this thing on YouTube. He wanted to show me this YouTube thing that he really liked. And it happened to be Bill Gates there with a young YouTube influencer. It's like someone around my son's age, young teenager, one of those YouTube influencers who has like millions of viewers. And you know, basically just trying to convince people that it's way better to eat these Beyond Burgers than it is to eat actual meat. So you know, and it's like there's this and it's like there's this sense, like, and there's this drive to condition, there's constantly this drive to condition people to believe that it's good to be a certain way. I'm not saying it's good or bad to be that way. I mean, for myself, I'm not eating a Beyond Burger. I had one before and I was like, fuck that stuff. I'm not eating that again. It was not pleasant. But you know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong either way to be eating Beyond Burgers or anything like that, because none of this stuff really has any effect. What I'm saying is it's always been a thing to condition the masses into let's all think like this. Let's all think like this. Well, guess what? Diversity of thinking is never going away. It just doesn't happen. That's a thing. It's creativity always brings back more of it, because we're not here to serve some elite group of people who make a bunch of money and run the world. We're not here to serve them. We're here to serve ourselves, which, there's only one of us in our own awakening. So it actually doesn't matter how it goes on the surface. That's why I don't mind. I know it's not real. It doesn't really matter how it goes, because of what it's for. And when you're knowing what it's actually for, you don't mind how it goes. You're not complaining. You're not saying, hey, hey neighbor, quit having parties late at night, so I'm kept up all night, or something like that. You just don't feel victimized like that. I mean, if I find myself awake in the middle of the night and there's a sound, immediately I don't believe any thoughts that says I'm awake because of the sound, because that's not possible. I'm not awake because of a sound. And I find myself sleeping through all kinds of sounds, but when it's time for when it's time for me to apparently wake up, I wake up. That's all. I don't wake up and start blaming, right? That's the difference. That fucking chicken, I'm gonna kill it. Today is the last day for that fucker. You're just not projecting. You're not projecting these basically evil thoughts, because all the thoughts are about yourself. All the thoughts that you see, these thoughts, they're teaching your mind that you're vulnerable to something. I just don't accept thoughts that teach my mind I'm vulnerable to something. Well, sometimes I do, and then I get a shitty feeling. That's how I know. And the interesting and fun and awesome thing is that the more you feel, the more you're willing to feel what's going on, the more you notice it easily. You just go, you just see an upset feeling. It's like, oh, and it just starts to go. Oh, there's another upset feeling. Okay, go. Oh, now they're coming in like a shitstorm. Now it's like it's like, what's that called? Automatic rifle. They're coming in fast. It's like pew 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 pew. It's okay. They're all the same. Doesn't matter. They can get really wild. They can get really wild if they want. It's all the same. You just don't accept anything that makes it seem like you're unworthy, even in the slightest. Okay, Ryan, my love. I was feeling upset, thinking it was because there are too many people around and I lack alone time, but it was just negative thoughts building on each other more and more. Then suddenly became aware it was just my thinking, so dropped it and now basking in joy, and you popped up. Yay, when I am in joy, I find hope. Hope's teaching is on another level, so damn real, honest, authentic, smart, just, right, to the point. Damn, this guy likes me. True, sincere, so consistently astonishing. Wow, I love you. Thank you, Ryan. Year after year after year, hope continues. Oh, Ryan, thank you so much. You won. I won. Yay. You won, woke bitch. Nice. Thanks, Ryan. You won, woke bitch. You like that, huh? Yeah, it's true. Joy is everything comes from your joy. Everything good comes from your joy, not anything else. Chicken murder burgers, yummy. Glenn must be a vegetarian. That is adorable, Glenn. It's fun to laugh with you, Ryan. I appreciate you. Yep. Chicken murder burgers, beef murder burgers, all those kinds of things. Yeah, here's the thing. Everything's murder. Everything is, doesn't matter. You go outside and you just walk around and you kill all kinds of little shits that you don't even see. Fire ants. We kill the shit out of those. It's all, and anytime you eat anything, it requires killing something. So there's kind of like this hierarchy that's been set up, and I especially, I don't notice this in all vegetarians. A lot of vegetarians are actually like, okay, I just like fucking vegetarian food. I'm not gonna be like telling people they're murdering anything or anything like that. But there's this thing with, probably a majority of vegetarians that just from my own experience. Of course, I made that all up because it's in my mind. But here's what I'm sharing. I know. But here's what I'm sharing anyway. The the vegetarians make up this kind of hierarchy where it's like, if you kill plants, that's okay. If you kill animals, that's not okay. And they have some reasoning for it. Animals have eyeballs and stuff like this. Okay. So this is a setup, you guys. This way of thinking is a total setup, because if you think that you're eating better than anyone else, you are hurting yourself. You're making food into something that hurts. You're making food into something that's actually murderous. Do you know why? You know why? Because it denies the life that you are. It denies your life. It denies your truth. That's death. That's hell. Okay. So the idea, just the idea that something, when that crosses your mind immediately, and if you're vegetarian or vegan, you're just conditioned that way. It's not like, not all of you, obviously. But if you're conditioned that way, it's not to be hard on you or hard on yourself or anything like that. Just notice when you get the idea that people who are eating meat are murderous, like more murderous than you anyways, you say we're all murderous in a dream, in a fucking dream. We're all murderous, okay? That's how it goes. There's no murder in reality. There's not even any death. We're all dreaming that we're murderous. So when we get the idea that we're like less murderous than someone else because we think we eat better stuff than them, we have just attacked our own mind. That's what leads to sickness. That's what leads to disease. That's what leads to death. Okay, so that kind of thing can be loved up in the moment. As soon as you see, oh yeah, there they go murdering again. Watch how you feel. You guys, I used to be totally into, oh, thank you, Constance. I love you. I used to be totally into the raw food diet. Now, this was raw meat, raw cheese, raw butter, raw milk, a couple fruits, some juice, and that's it. Like, it was so exclusionary, if that's the word. Exclusionary. So I would see other people eat and I would get disgusted that they would be eating something maybe store-bought, or maybe it was cooked. Maybe it was some cooked meat. Oh my God. It's the same thing as the vegan thing. Okay, that's the same thing. Watch how you feel. I noticed how I felt. You know what? I'm a quick study, I guess, because that felt like shit. It lasted 8 months. And I realized I had the biggest awakening. That was the best, that was the best thing, going raw like that, getting all anal about it. Because I had such a good awakening. I could feel so much how intense that was, what I was projecting on the people as they were eating. And I was just like, I don't need that. And so, now people can eat whatever they want, or say anything they want, or be anything they want. And I'm not getting all, I got to do that in the mirror once. I haven't seen myself do it. It's good. Okay. I went to high school in California. You made up the same thing about vegans, that they do that? That's awesome. It's always fun. It's always fun when you made it up. Then it's fun, right? Because you don't have to be pissed at them for calling your eating habits murderous because you made them up. There's this one vegan restaurant where they actually serve Beyond Burger, where I actually ate Beyond Burger before. And she was telling me, the owner was telling me, man, I had a vegan come in here and order my one salad that happens to have actual feta on it. She took some bites of it with the feta, and it was like a huge deal. It was like a really big deal. The owner's vegetarian too, the owner of the restaurant. And it was such a big deal. She had to like go to urgent care, and she had to do all this stuff because she ate a little bit of goat feta cheese, right? And she was telling me, gosh, I'm beginning to really appreciate you meat eaters because you guys can eat some vegetarian food and you're fine. You're not gonna act like the fucking world just fell apart because you ate some vegetarian food. And then I said, well, you got to meet my friend Chitta then, because he will fall apart if he eats some vegetarian food. I'm just kidding, Chitta. I didn't say that. But it did crack me up. Yeah, one's not better than the other. It's just the same thing as like all across like history, and you could say like recent history for us who are like my age and stuff, like the 80s, where it was like nasty to be gay. Like gay dudes were nasty. That's what I remember when I was like in the 80s. Like they'll just make something up, like something's bad, something's nasty, and it's just and it's just because that's the human conditioning. That's what the ego seeks that, like someone is wrong, someone is bad, someone is gross, someone is dirty, someone's got COVID, for instance. It's always something to make it seem like something is wrong, something's bad or something's wrong. But knowing that that's the game, that's the whole game. Something's wrong. Oh my God, this is easy. That's all I ever have to deal with. A thought that says something's wrong. That's all. And I was making a big deal out of it. It's nothing. It's like wind. Doesn't mean anything. I can be happy and be in joy and loving right now. It doesn't matter what the what the fear is. Whatever the fear is, it's a thought. It's like, where'd that fear go? Oh, I just stopped following the thought. And then there was no longer any fear. Just don't believe any thought that denies your worthiness. And then you'll be teaching your own mind of your value. So basically, you can say that your mission is to teach your mind of your value through all of your experiences. And it's so simple. Just don't follow that thought that says you're guilty, that says you're unworthy. And one thought that also speaks to unworthiness is any sense that anyone isn't living up to your expectations. That could be a partner, that could be a child. Any sense that someone isn't living up to your expectations, that's a guilty thought. And it's tempting to follow that thought. I know it is. I was looking at something. I think it may have been on the Pattern. You guys know that app, the Pattern? I'm on that app. If you want to check it out, find me. I'm Awesome Hope Johnson, just like I am over on Instagram. Okay. If you on the Pattern, like you can put your relationship in there. So I put my relationship with Tony in there. And it was really interesting because it told me something about how each of us has the same pattern where we get the sense that the other person isn't living up to our expectations, and then we feel trapped. Okay. So it's so funny because I'm seeing this like written down right now, but I've sensed it for a long time. And also, because of sensing it, because of noticing it and realizing it that it's there, allowed healing to happen for it too. So it's not even a thing for us anymore. Like we both realize that when we're that we are projecting something like that and knowing that it's a pattern. But before I knew, I would get this sense, and it was super tempting for me to follow that sense that he wasn't living up to something. And that's the thing, how it is with anything, anyone not doing good enough in your view. That's about you. That's making you think that you are unworthy. So it's doing is working on your mind, teaching your mind that you are unworthy. No one's got you trapped. No one's got you trapped. I know it seems like that. I know a lot of the times it can seem like that. But this this pattern is just coming up so that you can see through it. It's something that you can use to heal the sense of unworthiness in your own mind. So I started using the pattern within my own mind for that. And then I noticed the reflection. My husband doesn't hold me in any kind of thing like that either. Because it is all coming from your mind. So once you got it healed, you don't sense that someone else is being seeming like you're not doing good enough. And then part of that pattern is also that we, each of us, tries to prove our value to the other person. So this is, I wouldn't say this is just like us. I've seen this all over the place, but then what do I know? All I got is my own perception, right? So I guess I'm projecting that all over the place because I'm seeing it all over the place. But if anyone listening has that kind of situation going on, basically, when you get the perception of them putting on you that you're not good enough, that's still you. So just feel that. And then when you get the perception of yourself putting on them like they're not good enough, I found myself following those thoughts. I've been with the same man 27 years, and I found myself following those thoughts from when I was young. And I was kind of like, I would be like, what is that? First time I really noticed it, I was on a hike, and the thought occurred to me, kind of like, I'm trapped with him. I'm going to get out of here. It's like a plan to get out of here, and all this stuff. And the whole hike, I'm ruminating over this in my mind. I got a little baby right here. I forgot which one it was. Probably the big one, probably the 19-year-old. He's like on my chest, and the whole time I got this energy going, and I don't even know anything about energy at that point. All I know is by the end of it, I realized I don't want any of that stuff. I don't like, at the end of the hike, it's like, what happened on that hike? Like the whole time I was just like in a dream world thinking about how I was going to get out of this situation that I was in, with this partner that's not living up to my expectations. And then by the end of the hike, I'm like, I don't want any of that. And then, so that's when I first noticed becoming aware. And then as it comes up again and again and again and again, I just keep on watching it. And, sometimes I would find myself saying something to my husband, as it came closer to the end of the pattern. I'd find myself saying something to my husband, like, I wish you would be more like this or something like that. And then I go, oh, never mind, just scratch all that. That doesn't mean anything. Gosh, it's about me, just being honest, I tried the pattern. It was spot on. Nice. Wife's spare tire really good to wake me up. Your wife's spare tire. Okay. I'm guessing your wife's spare tire didn't work or something. But you're never going to get what you want by trying to get the other person to conform with whatever it seems like your wishes are. And you know how there's that thing in a relationship where one person gets the upper hand and then another person gets the upper hand, like that. It's almost like one person is proving themselves to the other person, and then the other person, the person who's on the top, who's got the upper hand, starts to feel guilty, and then it flips like that, and then they're proving themselves to the person with the upper hand, right? That's also a common pattern in relationships. And if you just watch that as it's playing out and notice that's a pattern, you can just relax in it. Watch, like if you've had partners, say, you've hooked up with different partners, and in every partnership you saw yourself doing the same pattern with them, or you had a long-term relationship and you just see yourself doing the same pattern with them, that's your pattern. So if you're in a relationship, or you're in a relationship, it could be a friendship too, and or you're just getting into a new relationship, being aware of your patterns. This is the reason why people skip around a bunch in relationships, because in the beginning, and it could take a little while where you're kind of like in that honeymoon phase. It's just really fun and your patterns aren't coming up yet. So it's like really fun to go out and get a new partner. People like to do that. Then they can avoid everything. Here's the thing, when you go longer term with a person, you don't have a choice in this either. You only have a choice in whether you're believing in these thoughts that keep on telling you your partner is insufficient. So your current partner, you only have a choice whether you believe those thoughts that say your current partner is a problem, or your current partner isn't meeting your expectations, or your current partner is an abuser, let's say. I mean, of course, you're getting your ass kicked. It's like the advice is, not that you can make a choice, but the advice is to get the fuck out of there. Let's just put that out, because some people hear me say that and they don't get it. They're like, you're telling people to get abused. Okay, thank you. So definitely get out of there if anyone's batting you around. But if you're just getting the sense that your partner's not good enough, they're not meeting your expectations, it's time to move on, etc., that is your pattern. You don't really need to change partners. And if you relax, you'll probably fall deeper into love with that. In fact, I know you will fall deeper into love with that partner, whether or not they stay a partner of yours or not. Doesn't have anything to do with whether you fall deeper into love with them or not. Because that's not the kind of love I'm talking about. Okay. Most of the world thinks about love in a different way. It's like so special. It's so special. This person, I love you more than that one over there, or I can't stand that person, but I love you. Actually, if you can't stand anyone, you can't love anyone. That's just how that goes. Because love for you is an opposite of something else. So the only love available is God's love. You don't have your own love. You imagine you have your own love, but you don't. The only love available is God's love. You are a vessel for that. Okay. And God's love doesn't, God's love is the same as God's judgment, which does not make anything out to be wrong or guilty. That's love. Innocence doesn't make anything or anyone, including yourself, out to be wrong or guilty. You can't be making yourself out to be guilty and also say, I love you. Well, you can say that all day long, actually, but it doesn't mean anything. Because what kind of love is that? There's no guilt in love. There's no sin. There's no sin in love. So the only love is God's love. So you can only convince yourself that you're doing this personal love. And there's nothing wrong with the personal love either. It's just an illusion. That's not where you are. That's not where you're communicating from. That's where you can do some projecting from, but that's not where you're communicating from. Still, it's a form you've been given. So your relationships are a form you've been given. Like, for instance, my relationship with my husband is a form I've been given for learning, not for anything else, not for security, not for whatever people are interested in having a partner for. The only purpose of the partnership is awakening the mind, and it works perfectly for that. It does not need to do anything else. Okay. Oh, I had one funny thing talking about, someone said something about passion. Something about passion. I think it was my little sister. It might have been. I don't know. Something about, I can tell you, I don't know. She was speaking for her own mind, of course. You need more passion. You need more passion. You need someone on the side besides just Tony. Like, he's okay. He's good. He's a good guy to have at home. But you need another guy on the side so you can have some passion in your life. So here's the sense I get when I hear that. People's idea of passion is really conflict. For people, passion is conflict. There's got to be some kind of drama. There's a drama going on. There's some kind of drama. I'll tell you what's passionate. When I was a kid, my mom was married to my dad, and then she started dating her high school sweetheart. Well, she was with my dad. My dad didn't mind. They were totally like that. But then he ends up going with her to be her dude, right? And meanwhile, he's married to her cousin. That's passion. It's a bunch of drama. People love drama because that keeps you from seeing what's going on. When people say something like that to me, I'm just like, I could really care less about that. In fact, if I was not married or with a partner right now, I would probably be like a celibate kind person. Like, that is not even interesting to me, that kind of passion. It just tells me, oh, I want something material so bad. Oh yeah, give it to me. It's like when you need nothing, I don't know what that's called, but it sure doesn't have anything to do with any kind of drama. Okay. I notice people running around looking for that attention from the opposite sex. And that's another one of those things. It's like, woo, 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 spinning, spinning, spinning. These things can happen naturally. These things can occur naturally. It's like, you don't have to act like you're all horny all the time, or be all, I don't know. I'm not that good at that, I guess. Trying to get attention and everything like that. And because it's such a mental thing, it's such a mind game. You don't have to do that. If you find yourself doing that, awesome, smile. You don't have to have that in your life, but people think that you need that. Like, what else is there then? What else is there if I'm not, like, for my sweet little sister, it's kind of like, what else is there if I'm not getting attention from the opposite sex? What the heck? What's it for then? Like, what is this even for? If I'm not trying to get something from a dude, then what's it for? And once you know what it's for, and you're sure what it's for, you're not concerned about that kind of stuff. So if you find yourself going through those kinds of things like, oh, I need more passion in my relationship, that's the ego, because because that'll get you more mental activity. That's what it'll get you. It'll get you more. Is that what you want? You need more mental activity? The more thoughts you get, the more mental activity you have, the less you're going to see about what's going on in secret, kind of like behind your back. Okay. And it's not like you can't have great sex, right? It's not like you can't have great sex. You just relax all your judgments, and then the partner that you happen to be with seems to be the best love maker in the fucking world, because you let him be. Damn, how did you get so good? Oh, I made you that way. That's right. Who taught you that? You just don't need all the mental energy. You don't need all that chatter. You don't need all that chatter. You don't need all that drama. It's not necessary. And it's not bad if you feel drawn to it. That's the other thing. I want to really point that out, because, people might take this as, oh my goodness, Hope, you're so ahead of me. I would never do anything like that. I just totally want to just like fuck everything that comes by me. Great. There's no problem with that. Anything that I'm sharing, it's just food for thought. You just watch, be gentle with yourself. Oh, look at me. I just like to see who will look at me. I love that. I get that, you guys. I totally get that, because I'll be like standing somewhere, seemingly minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, I'll wonder if someone's looking at my ass. And I'll kind of hope they are. And here's the thing. I don't give a shit. It's a thought. It comes up. It gets a smile. It goes. It's just energy at play. Who cares? See, it's just like you don't have to follow it. And these thoughts only occur to you to distract you. It's like a distraction. It's like, oh gosh, what was I just using his body for right there? That's the thing. It's like you're teaching your mind what the people mean to you. What is he to me? And that's the same thing with any kind of like a sexual feeling. Like maybe we'll like see a hot dude and get a sexual feeling. That kind of thing hasn't occurred to me in at least 5 years. It's just a pattern that got healed. That's why. So I get that sense and go, and just allow myself to have that feeling right there, whatever feeling it is that seems like it's missing. That's all. It's not like you're saying, no, I won't have any sex. You're not saying, no, I won't have any sex. You're just saying no to pursuing a thought that basically leads to misery. It's a self-attack, because it's teaching your mind that this person is only worth this to you, like material kind of thing. So you're just watching that, and in watching that, you can just laugh at a thought that says, I wonder if he's looking at my ass. I mean, I don't even know if those are the exact words, but they're just like a quick kind of, check in on something like that, and then kind of like hoping that they are, because that, and certainly my conditioning has been that is your worth. Your value is basically on if you look good. Like if you don't look good, basically you just don't have value. So there's a sense like, oh my God. And that was the way I basically would go about that. Was like the dominant thought, how I would go about my day all the time. And so just to see it come up, I just like, it's almost like a memory of something. I know it's also reflecting still a misbelief. And so it's just kind of like a memory of something that comes up, and it gets a smile, and a big relaxation and connection with that person. See, that connection with the person is so much more important to me than passion. Passion is all based on fucking projection. That's what I see. And you can have a different definition to it for it too. The words don't really mean anything, but this is just the way it looks to me and the way I'm using it right now. Passion looks like it's projection rather than connection. See, there's not really that passion thing in that. It's just really sweet. And if sex needs to happen, it most certainly will. And you don't even have a choice in it. I daily get thoughts that I daily get thoughts that sugar, carbs, apples are spiking my blood sugar. Fucking awesome. Diagnosed at 8 years old with type 1 diabetes. I eat late at night and my sugars are high all night. But I realize you have told me before, there is no diabetes, there is no body, but damn, these diabetes thoughts are deep, intense thoughts that certain foods are bad for me. I'm not even fully aware of how many negative thoughts I have about my high blood sugar. For a month or more now, my sugars are high and I'm blaming it on the food, but really it's just the negative thinking. Stress is stress in the mind. Yeah. So what I recommend, and this is kind of like a suggestion for consciousness. So you don't have to do anything about this because you don't have a choice in anything that you do. So what I'm recommending to your consciousness is make it a little bit simpler on you, a little bit easier on you to deal with this negative self-thought, is to do your best to choose the foods. And I know you don't have a choice in it yourself, but this is consciousness, to choose the foods that are in alignment with the diabetes diet that you feel is healthy for you. Whatever you feel is healthy for you, choose those foods, because that's gonna give you a little bit of a reprieve from all of these major gnarly thoughts. Okay, it's not as much stress, it's less stressful. Okay, so it's kind of like don't tempt the devil kind of thing. Now for you, Ryan, when you get the sense that something you ate caused your blood sugar spike, now that's an ingrained belief. Okay, that's why you get the perception of that's what's going on. So when you're getting the perception that's going on, feel it, go to gratitude with it, be in gratitude with it, and watch it. See, there's something that's there's some rebellious energy, and this is also the ego. The ego's got this rebellious energy. The ego is saying, okay, we know that one illusion can affect another illusion. So therefore, we know that these sugars and carbs are not capable of spiking blood sugars. So therefore, I'm going to eat the shit out of sugar and carbs late at night. Okay. So watch that. That's rebellion. Okay. That's a rebellious thought. Watch the rebellious thinking, because the rebellious thinking is what's causing you to get the perception that you're eating those things and that they're having the effect. For the meantime, let's say, the thing and the effect seem to go together. Okay, the thing and the food and the effect seem to go together. All right, for the meantime. So when you're allowing yourself to see this rebelliousness, this ego rebelliousness, and you're going, oh, that's just rebelliousness, and you're relaxing, you may find that you're not drawn so much to those foods that are off of your diabetes diet, because it actually, why does it matter to you what you eat in the first place? See, it doesn't. It's just that your mind is projecting illusions and using this particular illusion because it can. Okay, your projected mind / ego, because it can, based on the permission you gave, because you pursue rebellious thoughts. Okay. Yeah. Yes, 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 my love. Good job. I love how you just like repeat some of the shit I said so that you get it. That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, that's the thing. And, that's a big thing going on right now too in the world stage. Everything's symbolic. It's like there's this sense like you should be rebellious. You should be either you should be rebellious, or you should be complying by the rules because you're actually afraid of COVID. So it's either you should be in fear or you should be rebellious. Can we be somewhere else? Yes. Where you are is perfect love, no fear, no need to rebel against anything, because it's just your own mind. It's okay. It's just your own mind. And when you seem like you're drawn toward things that seem to harm you, there's an underlying thought. There's a misbelief about yourself that's being followed. It's not that you have to convince your mind that the food didn't have any effects on you when you're experience the effects. You're never going to convince your mind of that. You know why? Because you haven't healed the underlying belief, which is like rebellion is valuable. So it's not about trying to convince your mind, but denying truth to illusions is also helpful. So of course, when you get that, sense that you ate something late at night, again, you got the high blood sugar, and of course the thoughts are automatically going to blame that. Feel what that feels like. Notice that you must have thought against yourself. It's not like I can eat all the fucking ice cream I want all night long and fuck that ego. I'm just going to tell him in the morning that none of his bullshit effects are true. Doesn't work that way, huh? Yep, Pat. Yeah, I'm glad you like that, Glenn. Nice. Passion is projection, not connection. Yeah. That's my take on it anyways. I mean, that's how I sense it. Like everyone wants this. It's like what you want to get in the world. Because that's a passion. I have a passion for money. I have a passion for penises. I have a passion for boobs. I have a passion for, I don't know, gardening. Even, okay, I'll give you an example too. My husband is a really good example of this because he's a gardener, okay? Someone would say, oh, passion for gardening. I wish I had that. That'd be the best because I get all this gardening done, right? So here's the thing about passion. So if there's just gardening with love, then you garden, you find yourself gardening just enough to where you feel uplifted, supportive, happy, free, right? Or if the gardening is more like a passion, then you would be willing to sacrifice something for it, like health, well-being, energy. See, with love, there's no requirement to sacrifice anything. It's just, there's just, it just is. It's like you give just enough to where, like we were talking about earlier, before it goes downward on that arc of joy, before you're like losing all this joy, you start to notice it and you switch. You just shift you, and basically that's just allowing worthiness, allowing thoughts of worthiness to be true, and not allowing thoughts of unworthiness to be true. And then you're just giving exactly what everyone needs, exactly what everyone needs. And if someone tells you that you're not giving them what they need, thank them too for giving you what you need. Because that's exactly what you need. It doesn't mean it's true. It can't be true. There's no way you can give anyone anything but what they need. Should you tell them that? That depends on the circumstance, and that goes with your inner guide. Your inner guide will let you know in the moment whether or not that person is ready to receive that. You start to listen a lot more. Listen to the inner voice, always speaking to you, letting you know, should I push this a little bit further? I could just ask, and then trust that whatever it is you say and whatever it is you do is completely perfect, because it is. And the quickest, easiest way out of that kind of pattern where you have other people telling you that you're not good enough, or you didn't do enough, or you haven't done enough, or something like that, is just to feel it and thank them. Gratitude for that feeling. Ah, thank you. Not arguing about it, not defending yourself. That's the quickest way, because all you have to do is demonstrate it to your own mind, prove it to your own mind. And that, basically you teach your own mind by demonstrating. So it's like in the moment when a person says, you know what, you haven't done enough. I don't think you're pulling your weight, something like that. Let yourself get the relief in that. And that's how it teaches your own mind. Like when it's not true, that means you don't have to defend it. If you think it's not true, you're going to start defending it. You think, but you don't know that it's not true. You just think it. You're going to start defending it automatically. You could just watch that you're starting to defend it. And if you keep on defending it, just keep on watching and watch. And then you'll start to make better choices about that later on. Okay. You guys are so fun. Thank you. Thanks for your questions. I appreciate you. So I'm super excited about the awakening that's occurring in my mind. I know we're all having subjective experiences, so there's no collective experience. We're making that up, that everyone else is just like in the same with the with the perception that the government is this and all the different stuff. They're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. What I see is, for those of us who are having this kind of perception, this is a huge awakening opportunity for us. And as we start to see more people, which is happening for me all around, more people in my experience are awakening. More people, especially people that are close to us, close to me. I think the people who are close to me are super fortunate, because I just see them waking up all around me. It's really amazing. And I know that's really me. That's really my own mind. And with this kind of stretching too, it's kind of like stretching the ego, with this mandates and restrictions and all this different stuff. It's kind of like a pressure. It's symbolic of a kind of pressure in the mind. It's like a pressure to, come on, wake up, come on, quit fucking around, wake up, and I think I think I'm seeing that all over the place. I mean, my car wash guy who I talked to today, I just called him for an appointment randomly, and he was telling me how relaxed he gets when he goes down to Gehenna and he's around all those soulful people. He said that, I don't know a better word to say, it's just like soulful people. There's people who will take a moment and relax and just meditate. And he said, I go out there and I go fishing and I just get so meditative and I just feel so good. And just like stumbling upon it, just like going from completely, worldly, and then just stumbling upon it. Oh, there we go. Just like, and different people are having this occur for them. They're just stumbling upon something and going, oh, there's peace. Oh, there's relaxation. And I think the more that there's this stretching of the consciousness, the ego, whatever, I don't know. I just feel like this stretching kind of energy. The more willingness there is to wake up out of this dream that we made for ourselves, like we're separate and we're alone in this. We are so not alone, because there's only one of us, and we're all leading each other back home. We're all teaching and learning our own minds, using each other as mirrors. We're using each other. We're always using each other, and we want to be used like that. It's the agreement that we made with each other, that we want to be used like that. I want you to use me for awakening your mind. That's all. That's all I want you to use me for. You just, and it's just like, use each other for that. You're always going to use each other for something. I know people like to say, oh, I'm not using them. Look, I relate with a whole bunch of people, and anyone who sees in separation is using people for a purpose. They're using bodies, every body that comes into the experience, for a purpose that actually harms their own mind, but not realizing it, because thinking that I could use this person as some kind of benefit to me in my life. Like maybe they'll help me on my land, or maybe they'll um give me $1 million, or maybe they'll talk good about me to her, or just like watching these tendencies, and don't have ulterior motives. I'll tell you what, I got a great lesson in those ulterior motives really early on when I first moved here to Hawaii. It was probably like 2012, and I did not realize at the time that I was trying to use this woman's body to hurt myself. Basically, I was trying to use this woman's body to hurt myself. I saw her and I thought I needed to be close to her because I thought I needed to do something here, do something important here in Hawaii, and that this person can help me do something important. So what do? I put myself around her. What happens? Oh my goodness, I got so sick. I put myself in one of her retreats, and I got the perception that I was so fucking sick. I couldn't even stay. And that's what I mean about it being mental. It always is. And I knew at that time, even before I knew like okay, definitely every sickness is coming from the mind. I knew at that time, I was like, oh my goodness, I was just like going down the wrong path like that. That is not like it's kind of like putting it on yourself to try to be responsible for how your life unfolds. I just cannot do that because I get spanked fast. I get that illusion that I'm sick really fast, which I'm happy about. I'm glad about that. See what I mean? That's why every time you get an illusion that you're sick, that deserves nothing but gratitude. When you get the illusion that you're sick, it's pointing to something that you thought about yourself. And it's like, it's in your best interest to not keep going down that path. Don't just keep on going down that same path that said, I need this so I can get this so I can be responsible for my life. I'm not even allowed to do that anymore because I've seen too much and know too much. Once you know a certain amount, you can't, you just know. Of course, a lot of people are doing it and not realizing it, and they keep on getting the perception that they're sick. They get in accidents, they get in conflict situations, and they don't realize it's coming from their mind, and they keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's kind of like the natural way that people make suffering for themselves. Just keep on doing that same kind of thing. Just okay, that didn't work out for me. Now I'm going to try to take responsibility for my own life by doing this over here. When you're just in, and you can get away with that kind of stuff for a little while because you don't know. You just don't know. But the more you know, as you know, then it's like the more you know, the more you want to be awakened. It's all happening on your own authority. So you're going to find yourself getting the effects of your thoughts quicker. You're going to see, oh, I know where that came from. I'll get a little tickle in the back of my throat, and I'll just kind of like sit and feel, and something will be revealed to me some way that I thought against myself and didn't quite notice it. And all I can do is give gratitude for that little tickle in the back of my throat. And I'm sure what the ego would say is, don't give gratitude to sickness, just get more of it. Well, there is no sickness, actually. So you get gratitude for that symbol. It's a symbol. It's a symbol of something in the mind. I'm grateful for the symbol because it points to something that needs to be undone in my mind. It doesn't bring about sickness more. I can attest to that. I've been at this for a while, and I show up for wisdom dialogues twice a week. I don't find myself calling in sick. Let's put it that way. But I'll notice little things. I'll notice little things just pop up. Like I'll get like a sense like my knee is doing something funky, or my ankles got a little swollen, or anything. Just anything. And the more, that's one part of it, is to deny truth to illusions, meaning nothing caused that thing, whatever it seems like, whatever seems to be there. And on the same token, it's super appreciated as a symbol of something that I'm thinking about myself that needs to be corrected. Because that little symbol, like the tickle throat, or even a full blown cold, anything like that, that little symbol, that's nothing compared to how I'm treating myself. It's actually really gentle compared to how I'm treating myself by following that thought, thinking that I have to be responsible for my own life. You know how much pressure that is? That's ridiculous. So, hooray, everyone. Well, I don't see any more questions from people. Oh, let me see if I have one in my notes, though. I might. Let me see. I did the fear of death thing before. I think that was last time. So every relationship is a gift, and it's perfect to see past pain. And on, you know, everyone who's in the relationship, it's always perfect to see through any kind of pain. If you get any sense that you didn't act right in an interaction, say you had an interaction and it seems like you didn't act right, that's one of those thoughts that you can just surrender. So let that just, you know, it's not worth your attention. Let's put it that way. It's not worth your attention, even trying to analyze yourself and how you were in that situation. So a thought that pops up and tries to analyze how you were in a situation, that's giving you an opportunity right there to accept relief, because that's a stressful thought. It doesn't need to be pursued at all. That's just giving you an opportunity to notice what's there, feeling wise, breath wise, feeling wise, and to get relief from that. So just don't take that thought as anything that you need to pursue at all, and you'll see through it really fast and easily, and you'll see that your relationships will start to reflect the same thing. They're starting to reflect the value that you allow for yourself. Okay. Feeling bullied, threatened, harassed, obligated, shamed. That was me this past week. I was so excited about it too. I loved it. Had a conversation with a friend, and I got all these kinds of feelings coming up. And you know, just noticing that it's not about my friend, even though it seems like it really, like, intensely in my mind, it seems like, wow, this person is like really unreasonable, really fucking unreasonable. It's like, and you know, a bunch of people, I could get a bunch of people to agree with me that this person is unreasonable, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter what evidence you have. The evidence isn't it. Okay. You can have all the evidence in the world. And I'm telling you, from my point of view, I had all the evidence this person is fucking unreasonable as could be. And I felt bullied, threatened, harassed, obligated, and shamed by this person. And well, by myself, but it seemed to be by this person. So I felt all those things all by myself. And yeah, it seemed to be about the person. So it was just a matter of sitting with it and noticing that I'm making that stuff up about the person, that all that stuff is a blessing, and being in gratitude for it. And that's where the healing comes in. It's like, it's like such a relief, such that the other person can also sense it and reflect it back. That's how I know it went really deep. I don't need their I don't need their reflection saying, you know, showing me that healing has happened. I don't need their reflection, because I know, because I can already feel it. And it's also just like math, okay, that the mind is going to meet you where you are. So in as much relief I can get for myself, I'm allowing for my friend. Okay. So then there can be a meeting, and it's like, I know we can see through this stuff. What did you do with the feelings of violence, though? Are you talking about something in particular, or the feeling of wanting to kick their ass? What did you do with that? You know, and that I didn't get that sense. It was more like a victimized feeling on my end, but not a I guess because I don't follow the thoughts that far to where I start to feel violent or anything. But I know what you mean and have definitely been in that situation before. And, you know, violence is just the same as any other kind of feeling. You could say it's all violence, really. Even if you're talking about like physically, you're thinking about physically beating their ass, or you're thinking that they're responsible for your feelings. That's the same as the other one. Like the same as thinking about you're gonna physically kick their ass and thinking that they're responsible for the way you feel because they're unreasonable. That's the same violence. I look at those as being the same. Okay. I just didn't get that particular version of it that time. That's all. But I consider all of that violence because it attacks it attacks the sense of self, let's say, in a way where in a way where it makes it, well, let's say it attacks your own mind and makes your sense of self all important. Okay. Whether you're thinking that you're victimized by a person, or you're thinking you're violent, you're violating them in a physical way, you're thinking about violating them in a physical way, that's the same thing. It's violence. It's just violence. And so it plays out in different ways in different minds. And there's really no hierarchy on that. It's not like there's good violence and bad violence. Even when you're just a little bit frustrated with your wife because she, I don't know, I'm just making this shit up. She farted in the middle of the night and she had beans before that. And you're like, God, why can't my wife like pay better attention to her diet? I'm just making shit up because it's fun. And you feel a little bit irritated. That's violence. Yeah. Okay. Those are all the same. They're all just symbols of a thought of separation. Or say you're a gay dude and your partner forgot to shave his ass for you and you get a little bit irritated. That's violence. You said that person made angry. What does that mean? Made you angry. Where does that energy go? Well, you know, the energy is just it's just a symbol. It's a symbol of a thought. So it's just it just dissipates, you could say. It just like breaks up and reveals like what's really underneath it. So the energy of angry, that's kind of like on the surface of things, and the mind tends to reject it. Okay, the mind's tending to like kind of like push this away because, oh, angry. And so and I don't want any of that. But when you actually look at it straight on, which, you know, is what I've talked about a lot, feeling that feeling it, watching how it changes, watching your breath, that kind of thing. So you're just being with it quietly, meaning you're not chasing any of the thoughts. The thoughts are okay, they can do what they want, but you're quietly observing yourself. That's all. So the energy itself, it just dissipates. You're like, where is it? Where is it? It's where the fearful thought is. Where's the fearful thought now? It's gone. It gets transformed because the fearful thought gets healed. So there's no need for the angry energy anymore. Now it'll also go away temporarily in another way where it'll just recede back again. And you might notice as you're healing, you might heal partly, and then it comes back again. It keeps coming back again and keeps coming back again. So as it comes back every time, it gets easier to see that this feeling of angry is a benefit. It's a joy. I'm glad it's here. See, the reason you're resisting the feeling of angry is just this fear of how you might act and what you might do. The anger is actually a blessing, you know. It's giving you a lot. And when you sit quietly with it within yourself and just watching, observing, the anger reveals something so much more beautiful. I mean, angry is actually an interpretation anyways, okay? It's not really there. It's an interpretation of energy by a confused mind. So that's why it's kind of like it dissolves. It's got like kind of like what I was talking about earlier with your perception and your awareness on the anger. It's like the sun. Your awareness is like the sun, your presence, just your presence. That's what's wearing it away. It's almost like it's like the sun on the morning mist. So think about the angry energy as morning mist. Does it need to go anywhere? Where would it go? It's projected from a thought. Okay. So it's not like it has a life of its own. The energy of anger doesn't have a life of its own. It's projected from a thought. Okay. So yay, everyone. Of course, that thought wants to stay alive. So it's very tempting to try to fight it or believe it, which is basically the same thing. It's making it real. It's making it true. So, hooray, everyone. I think I got all your comments now. Oh, you guys are so cute. I really appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. So if anyone has anything now, raise your hand and I will take it. I got like 10 minutes maximum. But I could leave earlier. I don't know. So hopejohnson.org. Go to hopejohnson.org if you want to find my recordings. They're all there. The audio's on the top. You go to you got to go to the Wisdom Dialogues tab. Okay, so look for the Wisdom Dialogues tab on there. The audio is right up at the top. Videos are down at the bottom. You can subscribe to my newsletter. You could leave a donation. I definitely find donations useful. I pay for stuff like Zoom and different. I don't know. I'm not even keeping track. But definitely find them useful. It doesn't hurt to even get a little bit extra donations just for some, I don't know, for the fuck of it. Anyways, I'm super happy to share with you. Thank you so much. I see a hand gone up here. Let's see. Who wants to talk to me? Looks like Bob Shine. Bob Shine, unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello.
you. What's up, Bob?
You can?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. Oh, good. You can hear me. Good. So, yeah, you're talking about illness and to be thankful for it. So lately I've been having issues like with my prostate all my life. And lately it's just, I have this urge to pee all the time and this like pressure in my bladder. And I feel like I have some unhealed elements, some negative emotions from my past that are unacceptable, or I've had like trauma and terror, especially like birth trauma. You know, it's like my mom was 42 and when I was born in 1956, and women weren't into yoga and organic food like they were now.
Okay, we don't need the whole story. We don't need the whole story. It's good. It's good. I hear you. Yeah. So Bob, you have a specific question about that?
Yeah, well, I've always see. So then my dad, I almost didn't make it out of the womb. At one point my dad had to decide which of us was going to live.
That's not it. That's not it, Bob. Bob, I don't need to hear the whole backstory. Do you have a specific question about it?
Yeah, well, it's just that I've been suffering from this behavior where I feel like I'm being trapped. I used to be able to go into sweat lodges, and then I get panic attacks, like I'm not going to make it out okay. And when I'm going to go on an important flight, I get panicked that I'm not going to make it out. And lately, I was at Maklavena, and it said gates closed at 6:30, and I was all tense about getting out, and so I wasn't trapped in. So it's like the idea that there's this repressed trauma or whatever that then uh, surfaces in physical symptoms. And so I just feel like I still have some trauma from my childhood that is trying to break out of my system, and that it's manifesting in now what's going on with this prostate. You know, I'm my bladder's always full. I feel like I always have to pee.
Okay. Okay. So number one, the childhood trauma thing. That has been a theme for you ever since I've known you. You keep on doing the childhood trauma thing. There's no childhood. There's just conditioning, and whatever childhood that you're projecting now. You're only projecting that now. That is giving that's giving some value to whatever you're going through. Okay, that's giving that some value. So it keeps that coming back again and again and again. So, you know, what I'm talking about with being with the sensations is to stop justifying it. So your idea of your past and your childhood and the trauma and all the story. See, the reason I don't need to hear all the story is because I know it. I'm familiar with it. It's an ego story. You have that story playing over and over and over again, and you're being an audience to it, and you keep on believing in it. That's not
Okay, so
that's
then
not the truth.
so then what I'm suffering from is purely physiological. I need to go on some kind of different diet or something, and it'll relieve that, or you don't think it's
Well,
anything of an
you are
emotional?
looking for relief from a physical symptom, right? Right, Bob?
Well, it's there, so I'm just trying to examine it and see what's going on with it. What
Okay,
could be
so
the cause?
examining illusion is delusion. Okay, it doesn't have any reason to be there. There's no good reason for it. Just like you just embrace it and watch. You know, it's like a signal, it's like a symbol that there's something for you to see. That's all. Embrace it and watch. You know, doing things to try to, and I'm talking about thinking now. I say doing is thinking too. Doing things in your mind, thinking about how to get rid of the symptom is one thing. You know, that's like that's one level, and there's nothing wrong with it or anything. But there's this sense like that's the goal. There, why would your goal be to get rid of a symptom? See, the ego wants that goal to be that you get rid of a symptom, because you know it's like seek and don't find. You're not going to get rid of all the symptoms. You might get rid of one symptom, then another one comes up, and then another one comes up. You know, it's like making the symptom into such a big deal is the thing for the ego. So if there's some symptom, why does it have to be a big deal? It's like, just let it be what it is. Let it play itself out. Okay, there's pain. Okay, there's that. Like kind of like meditate with it. All of the solutions will come to you, whether it's a diet, whether it's this, whether it's that. I don't know. I'm not the one to ask about that. Any of those solutions that you need, those will just come on their own. You'll just know. It'll just be like, oh, now I'm doing this. Oh, this feels much better. Oh, thank you, thank goodness. You know, but while you're going through the pain and it hurts to pee and everything like that, you just stay and be prayerful. And patience is another one, because when you're in a hurry for a symptom to go away, that actually makes it stay too.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll just embrace it, thank it, love it, and and just abide with it and let it speak to me, whatever it needs to. I just need to listen to it more.
Yeah, it's right now. It's right now in the moment when you get the sense, you get a thought about the, because this is a pattern that I've seen with you, Bob, is where you get a thought about a symptom or something and you immediately will go back to that pain in your childhood, and you can't get to that from here. So it's like, because it's a projection. But right now you're thinking against yourself. So you're thinking that you're thinking that the abuse that you suffered in your childhood is making this symptom right now. So that justifies the symptom. Okay. That's what justifies the symptom. And in the to the
So
mind,
just kind of,
don't. What?
so it's basically just a nothingness.
That's right. It doesn't, who does it matter to that it hurts to pee? That's what I mean. You're in a dream. You're dreaming. Who does it matter to? Who cares? Who cares about that?
Well, I guess I care because I'm the one experiencing it. I don't
Well,
expect anyone else to care.
well, what I mean is from your own mind, who is it that's caring if it hurts to pee? Who cares? Who can it be but the ego? Who can it be but the
I
ego?
see.
See? And
So
then at the same time,
it's
at the same time, if it hurts to pee, you're way more worthy than that, obviously. But the fact is, you're dreaming. And you're dreaming it because there's guilt in the mind. But you can't get to it by projecting it as if that stuff that went down in your childhood is responsible for you having trouble peeing right now, because that puts you in a place where you're just fucked. Okay, because how are you going to
okay.
get back to your
Well,
childhood and take care of that, right?
yeah. Well, I don't want to be fucked. So,
Well, maybe not in that way, but I'm guessing in some way you do.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then, great. Then I just have to love it, accept it, relax with it, and embrace it, and let it educate me. Let
Yeah,
it
even
be
the
my.
pain, even the pain itself is make believe. You're making it up, even the pain. So get
Mhm.
present with it and not so into those thoughts that project it as as if it's a past thing that's being revealed now. There is no past. What's being
Okay.
revealed now needs to be seen, and it's up now. Nael said detach from our
Okay.
story, just detach from our story from the past. So that's a good one. All right, Bob, I gotta move on, my love. Thank you for coming in. I
All
love you.
right. Okay. Thank you. I feel great.
Awesome. I'm
Mahalo.
glad. I hope your wiener feels great the next time you pee.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right, Niall, I got one more. 125,000 plus gallon oil spill in Huntington Beach made me first sad, then rage toward Amplify Energy Corp, to the point of thinking of hurting people responsible for hurting the planet. Those thoughts seem like wasted energy because I won't do shit. I drive a car with oil. How do I channel that energy? Do I ever defend the planet from injustice, or is nothing happening? Oh, this is a great question. I'm going to be here for a minute on this one. Okay. Hurting the planet. Okay, so no one's hurting the planet, obviously. You are responsible for a perception that the planet is being hurt, including all the people that seem to be hurting the planet. That's your responsibility. You put that into your mind. You're going to have to feel the effects of that. That's what you're doing. You're feeling the effects of that thought, that people can be responsible for hurting the planet, and that you can be responsible for harming and being harmed. The effect of that thought is what you're feeling now. Those thoughts seem like wasted energy. Yes, wasted. Your mind's completely blank. You're not creating at all in that instance. It's really wasted, because I won't do shit. No, that's not the reason it's wasted. It's wasted energy because it's making you into an illusion. It's making it seem as if the world that you're perceiving is outside of yourself and other people are doing the shit to it that you see being done to it. No, you're projecting all that and nothing's being done to it. You're projecting all of it so your mind can awaken. And then you start guilting yourself saying, I drive a car with oil. You know, in dreams, you do some fucked up shit. Okay. That's just how it is. So just don't worry about that. It's not anything to be guilting yourself about, because I won't. Okay. How do I channel that energy? That's not energy that you necessarily want to be channeling. I think the question that you really want to ask so you can get the answer that you really want is, how do I forgive? Because you have made an illusion here that there are other people responsible for hurting the planet. You've also made an illusion that you're guilty of hurting the planet too, and that you are also guilty for not knowing how to channel your angry energy into doing something to defend the planet. Okay. All that's necessary right there is that thought needs to be met with the truth. That thought that says hurting people, you don't even put the hurting people in there. People are responsible for hurting the planet, period. Nip that one in the bud, everything else is gone. There's no one responsible for hurting the planet. You are getting perception of people hurting the planet so you can get that feeling, so you can get that sense of anger, so it can seem like you're not doing shit and you're guilty, and you're so fucking guilty that you better get on it and save the planet from injustice. And then hope will say nothing is happening, and then you're like, what am I doing? So all it is that thought, that first one, responsible for hurting the planet. It's basically saying you're responsible, you can hurt people, you're a threat, you're dangerous, all this other stuff. You're making it into a big ass story. This is drama, this is passion. You can get all passionate. You can use it to get all passionate about the planet when the planet does not want your fucking passion at all. You know, I don't even know if she likes to be called the planet, but Mother Earth definitely is not into those kinds of projections. Okay. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything is playing out like it should be. The people who seem to be hurting the planet are deserving of nothing but your gratitude, because it seems like they're hurting the planet. That's the reason. They actually deserve your gratitude, because it seems to you like they're hurting the planet. That's the reason. And that will clear all of that up. So I'm glad you laid that out for me, so we can nip that in the bud. And let me know if you need anything else. I am checking out. Woo! Yay, Nael. Thank you too. I appreciate you. All right, everyone. I'll be back next week, Monday. It's such a fun thing for me too. Thank you. And then Friday at Hawaiian Sanctuary, same time, Hawaiian Sanctuary, 3 to 5 every Friday. And I wanted to let you guys know about a couple markets where I like to go. One of them is Pahoa Market across from Pele's Kitchen. It's a non-mask market, super small right now. Looking for vendors. They're gonna start getting EBT too. I really like that market. I love the peeps who are running it. And then there's also Trading Post. That one, did I say it's Sunday? Sunday, 8 to noon, across from Pele's Kitchen. The other one's on Saturday, and that's at the Trading Post, and that's from 3 to dark. And that is right next to Cinderland. If you know where Cinderland is on Government Beach Road, it's right around there, and you'll see a sign. You'll know right where to go. So yeah, love to connect with you guys at a farmer's market. And thank you for joining Wisdom Dialogues. I love you so much. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.